There's been another major fish kill in the far west of New South Wales. Hundreds of thousands of wild fish have been discovered dead in Menindee.
Hundreds of thousands of dead fish have been discovered in the Darling River at Menindee in our state's far west.
It's similar to a fish kill 4 years ago. That one was caused by drought. Ironically, this time it appears to be floods.
It's the same site as the mass event in 2019, where millions of carcasses washed up due to a combination of high temperatures and low oxygen levels.
A carpet of dead bony bream killed by a lack of oxygen.
It's massive. It's just incredible. There'd be 1,000 fish in it per square metre.
He says the kill extends for as much as 40 kilometres. It's a reprise of the 2018-19 disaster, but this looks worse.
Mass fish deaths have been happening on the Darling River in recent weeks. Tens of thousands of fish were found at the same spot in late February. There were also several found near the South Australia and Victoria borders.
More than 100 birds have been found sick and dying after a suspected poisoning at an industrial estate near Brisbane Airport. Wildlife officers are now testing 2 sites at Pinkenba.
It's not in a good way.
Dozens of ducks have been pulled from an algae-laden swamp at Pinkenba after a mystery poisoning more than 100 others didn't survive.
With the large numbers, it's quite alarming.
The deaths began last week. Now an urgent investigation has been launched. The state's wildlife officers called in with 2 pools of water under the microscope for testing.
The 2 things that we're always concerned about is potential disease outbreaks and poisoning.
The threat to the public is considered extremely low, but the wildlife are suffering.
Yesterday evening we found a fox and hare, also found an eel.
Wildlife officers have today ruled out a deliberate poisoning.
Two months on, millions of dead fish continue to wash up along the state's south coast. It's causing a stink for local businesses, with visitors staying away in droves.
It's the dead fish phenomenon that should have been flushed out weeks ago. Middleton's been one of the worst affected beaches, where millions of juvenile European carp have been flushed out of the Murray Mouth and into the sea, the stench putting tourists off.
Right now, officials are working to clean up Florida's beaches. Dead fish line some of the most popular spring break spots on the West Coast. It's all because of red tide.
Right now, the west coast of Florida is taking a hit. This beachgoer told WINK.
I was stunned when I saw this. We saw some big fish this morning, but this is incredible. There's no words for it.
Dead fish of all sizes washed onto the shore with the tides.
In fact, a manatee needed rescue after it showed up lethargic on Holmes Beach, right off Santa Maria. And then this Goliath grouper here, it actually washed ashore on Indian Rocks Beach.
I've experienced red tide. This year it's stronger. People have coughs.
I've seen a few dead fish. I tried to do a little fishing, haven't been able to get anything, so I've come out here before and caught fish, and so it's affecting the fishing too.
Red tide is naturally occurring, but conservationists say we don't usually see red tide blooms of this magnitude this time of year.
Well, it is especially alarming when you have a red tide event that transitions from one calendar year into the next calendar year. We would normally expect these red tides to dissipate towards the end of a calendar year, late into the fall, into the winter.